Hey there, and welcome back to Module 6. In this lesson, we'll talk about the first 2 weeks of your course and how you can be setting up your flipped classroom for success in those early days with your students. Now, you don't have to take a full 2 weeks to do this. It could just be 1 week, but I would bet once you see some of my suggestions, you'll want to take at least 3 or 4 days before getting into the content. So in this lesson, we'll discuss very specific ways I start my course each year and techniques you should implement to start your year with your students. So let's get right to it. My first piece of advice is this: don't smile until Christmas, right? No, I'm totally kidding and think that's dumb. But there is something to learn from the idea behind this age-old teacher myth. Don't budge. Not your grim RBF. No, I'm talking your procedures. Don't budge on teaching procedures, ever. Okay, maybe at Christmas break, but by then your students will have them so ingrained, they'll do them in spite of you. And that's the point. You want to be able to almost put yourself out of business. Well, kind of. Stick with me over the long haul here and you'll see what I mean. So let's talk about these specific techniques. We talked about this a bit in the last lesson by including it in your syllabus and introducing the flipped classroom. But I think you'll need to do a little more than just that. In my class, I included a station in my first day of school stations where students explore different ways students take notes in the flipped classroom. Also, take some whole class time dedicated to answering questions about the flipped classroom, making sure to keep it positive even when a student might feel not so positive about it. I also want you to take a day to have kids set up their technology aspects of your course. In the past, I would take a full day for this because I needed to introduce our system of Chromebooks in the classroom. But when we went one-to-one, I only did one station per app or piece of technology that students used. For instance, in one station, students would go to our class website. They would bookmark it and do a mini scavenger hunt. In another station, they would join our Quizlet class and get acclimated to using it as instructed. Make your directions for this day super clear and tell the students to prepare for a slower moving day to make sure no one is left behind, and that's okay. Ask them to help each other out when someone gets a step or two behind, and know that once they get through a few steps, they'll be all set up for the year. Now, this one is probably my favorite tip I'm recommending here. And I want to walk you through how I do just this and what very specific intention I have from go. I teach students how to take flipped notes. So here's the process. The day before a set of notes were due, I would give students their guided notes and tell them that we're going to watch the video together so I can monitor how we do in taking notes from a video. Don't worry, these are due tomorrow, so if you don't finish them in class, you can finish them for homework. I ask for one student volunteer to go back to my computer that is connected to the smartboard and projecting the video, and they are taking notes from the video on my computer just as if they're at home. The student has their notes, clicks play, and then I go about doing other things in the room. At least that's what I pretend to do, and you'll see why. As the student lets the video play, everyone else in the room takes notes from the video as well that's projected on the board. Here's what I want to happen, and this is the kicker. The student taking notes at my computer will just let it play and not pause. This is a good thing. Hold on, wait, you're kidding, right? No, I'm not. It is a good thing because you'll see as you look over the room that students are getting frustrated. The video is moving too fast, they are missing important parts, they're getting mad. And that is right where I want them to be. Bazinga. So I take back over the room and thank the student volunteer, asking the class, okay, so how's it going, everyone? They express their frustrations and I say, well, good. I'm glad you feel that way because for the rest of the school year, no one will be in charge of how quickly or slowly you take your notes. You will have your very own pause button, and I want you to use it a lot in every single video. At this point, I talk to them about making sure that whenever they are writing, the video should be paused. No exceptions ever. And then I give them the rest of the bell to finish their first set of notes, if there's time. So then I'm able to monitor the room, give feedback as they take their notes. The last important step I'll talk about that you'll want to take at the beginning of your flipped classroom is to walk students through setting up their binders. You could do this on the first day that you'll stamp their notes so they can see the process right after setting everything up, or you could take a separate day. It's totally up to you. Take as much time as is needed. Don't rush this. For them to label their tabs and organize any materials they've already received, including their syllabus and maybe their first set of notes. Then walk them through the beginning of the bell process where they'll show you their notes and you'll stamp in the right-hand corner. This would also be a good day to go over the binder rubric and how students will be graded every single unit, reiterating that it's the easiest points they will ever get. You're just asking that they participate in the process that you've laid out for them to learn. Alrighty, so it was a quick one, but the 4 items here that we've talked about in this lesson are not only ones you may want to incorporate. So by all means, please work other items in and make it work for your course. Stations were awesome for the first day of school in my class, but a more structured or even whole class approach, kind of walkthrough of these important items, may be more necessary in your class. So the take action pieces for this lesson are pretty self-explanatory. Set up each of these lessons or activities or stations, however you want to take the time to structure those, making sure you drive home the important aspects of your flipped classroom. I would recommend making one giant lesson plan, like one Google Doc, or even one big unit plan for your intro to course unit. Let's call it Unit 0, where you literally walk students through the ins and outs of your classroom before talking about any content. So in Lesson 3, we're going to chat over some ways you can be sure you are clearly communicating with your students and making sure the avenues to succeed in your flipped classroom are wide open for them. So when you're ready, go ahead and click next and I'll see you there.